In the previous class, we have stopped the instruments which are used in the leveling. The given slide shows you the staff, or which is also called as a pole, where a graduated scale will be there. From there you can calculate the ground levels. Now I have said that in the next class we will talk about basic definitions, which are very important in order to understand the entire leveling operation. We cannot use a common language in order to explain about the points or the vocabulary which is used in our engineering subject. Let us consider a land which is undulating as shown in the figure. The first definition what we need to know is, before knowing that, let us assume there are two different points A and B as shown in the figure at different locations, and there is also a subsequent level difference between them. A line drawn which is parallel to the spherical shape of earth at this round shape, and if you draw any line, or if you draw a plane parallel to the earth's spheroidal shape, then that line is called as a level surface. And if you draw any line in the level surface, then that line is called as a level line. A line which is parallel to the spherical shape of the earth is called as level surface. A surface which is parallel to the earth spherical shape is called as a level surface. And if you draw a line in the level surface, then that line is called as a level line. At A point, I can have a level line. At B point, I can draw a level line, because these are the two locations on the earth which is having a level difference. So I can draw two parallel lines which is parallel to the spherical shape of the earth. A line which is drawn tangent to any of the ground point with the level surface is called as a horizontal line. Now we are talking about a line which is in the shape of a circle, so there exists a tangent to it. And if you draw a tangent to the level line, then that tangent is called as a horizontal line. If you suspend a plumb bob which is always acts vertically downwards, then this line is called as a vertical line, which always passes through the center of earth. A line passing through the center of earth is called as a vertical line. Although for these 2 points A and B, the angle is changed, but the line always passes through the center of the earth. We always say that the level differences or the level heights are measured with reference, and the reference is called as vertical datum or geoid. The reference is called as vertical datum or geoid, where the vertical measurements of different points is measured, like I have shown in pink color. The distance between the vertical datum to the point A is called as elevation of A. The vertical distance between geoid and the point B is called as elevation of B. Hyderabad has an elevation of 490 to 540 meters from datum, which means entire Hyderabad city is having an elevation of height of 490 to 540 meters. The highest 540 meters is being near BHEL or Patancheru. The lowest being towards Vijayawada. There exists a line. If you have a horizontal line and if you draw a vertical line to it, then this makes an angle, and this is called as a vertical angle. Like I said in the previous class, no 2 points have. Like I said in the previous class, if you have a datum and if you know the elevation of two different points, you can easily find out the difference in elevations I have mentioned here, A and B. So here we have learned about level surface, level line, horizontal surface, horizontal line, vertical line, vertical plane. If you have a vertical line, then you can have a surface. That surface is called as a vertical plane. Then we learned about vertical datum, where it is taken as a reference to calculate the elevations of different points. It is also called as geode. Then vertical difference in elevation of two different points. Then vertical angle. These are the common terms, basic common terms which are used in leveling. Often when we are talking about the levels of points, we often say reduced level. What is this reduced level? The vertical distance of any point on the ground with reference to the datum line is called as a reduced level. Now you can ask me, sir, you have said in the previous slide that it is elevation. Elevation and reduced level is more or less same. Elevation is always taken with reference to mean sea level. Reduced level is a term which is calculated with reference to a known point. What is the difference between the mean sea level and elevation at known point? For example, I have 3 points. This is the mean sea level which is considered as 0. This is A and this is B. Level of A or level of B is measured with reference to MSL as elevation. Elevation of A, elevation of B, which is vertical distance A and B. And if I happen to calculate the elevation of B with reference to B, then it is not called as elevation, we call it as a reduced level of B. Elevation is a term you come across when you talk about the vertical distance of any point with reference to datum or mean sea level. Reduced level is a level where you use this term when you are denoting a point on the ground surface with reference to another elevation, not with reference to datum. But sign name is same, reduced level or the elevation, which is the vertical distance with a reference point. Line of collimation, which is very important. Like I said in the previous class, when you have an undulating terrain, you need to have a fixed line where you can calculate the vertical distances of ground points. The level line is called as a line of collimation. The definition of line of collimation is, it is the imaginary line passing through the intersection of crosshairs in the diaphragm with the eyepiece to the optical center of the object glass. Recap yesterday's class where we have discussed about telescope. In telescope, we have eyepiece, we have objective. Eyepiece is the place where you will keep our eye there, then opposite side is called objective or object glass. If you happen to pass an imaginary line passing through two centers and projecting on either sides, this line is called as a line of collimation, which is our reference in order to calculate the ground distances. Axis of telescope. Line of collimation happens to be confusing with axis of telescope. When I ask the students, they will say axis of telescope is similar to line of collimation. No, it is not. Then what is axis of telescope? The axis or the imaginary line passing through the optical center of the object glass and the optical center of the eyepiece is called as axis of telescope. Line of collimation is intersection of crosshairs. In the eyepiece, you have a crosshair. Crosshairs are a plus symbol where you will use that plus symbol in order to sight the object. If you happen to pass through the crosshair center with the center of the objective glass, its projection is called as line of collimation. If you happen to have two glasses there, if you pass a line joining these two centers and its projection, then this line is called as axis of telescope. Why is these two lines came for the same telescope? Because in all the instruments, this line of collimation and the axis of telescope should merge with each other. If these are not merging, it says there is a permanent adjustment to the instrument and it says there is error. These errors can be easily found if you send the instrument to the manufacturer. An instrument is set up in a computer and these axes are exactly measured within the range of 2 seconds. Degrees, minutes, seconds. Within the degree of 2 seconds they will measure it. And if line of collimation and axis of telescope is not matching, then your instrument is in error and it needs a serious attention of the repair. Then we have axis of bubble. In auto level, bubble is in circle motion, whereas in dumpy level, your bubble is in vertical position. If you happen to join an imaginary line which is tangential to the longitudinal curve of the bubble at its middle point, then that line is called as axis of bubble tube. Now imagine a bubble. You have a bubble there. You have a midpoint there, right? At either two sides, if you happen to draw a tangential line, the tangential which makes a line of 90 degrees with the radius. Now if you happen to draw a tangential line to the bubble, then that line is called as an axis of bubble tube. Axis of bubble tube, line of collimation and axis of telescope should be parallel with each other. I repeat, axis of bubble tube and line of collimation or axis of telescope should parallel to each other. This also says that if there is an error, we can easily find out and rectify it by repairing the instrument. Always, instrument should be serviced for every 6-month duration. Majority of people think that 1 year is a minimum date which is given for the instrument, but it is not so wrong. We always should consider is minimum 6 months. You have to repair the instrument or service the instrument. Continuation with the definitions, we have 3 foremost important definitions which are back sight, foresight and intervene sight. These sights often students get confused what are these all sights is all about. When you set up your instrument station and the first station, the measurement where you will take is called as a back sight. At back sight, the elevation or the reduced level of the point is already known to you. I repeat, when you set up your instrument station at certain point and when you sight to a station where the elevation of that point is already known to you, that point or that sight is called as a back sight. Or the first reading from the instrument station or the new instrument station is also called as a back sight. Always remember that you cannot calculate all the ground levels at the same instrument station. you often want to change the instrument station to one point to another in order to have the visibility. Foresight is the last station sight which is done before changing the instrument station. The first sight is called as back sight. The foresight is called as a last measurement or the last vertical distance sight where you have conducted before changing the instrument to the other point. The last foresight will be the back sight of new instrument station. I repeat, the last foresight will be the back sight of the new instrument station. In between these two, backside and foresight, often surveyor conducts different points. He can also take many levels as far as visibility is concerned. These sites are called as intermediate sites. So, when we are noting down these levels in a tabular form, backside, intermediate side and foresight columns will be present. We should always remember what is backside, what is foresight and what is intermediate side. I repeat, when instrument is set up, the first station site or the first reading you take from the instrument station is called as backside. The last instrument station which you have taken from the same instrument station is called as foresight. In between these backside and foresight, the sites, whatever you have done, is called as intermediate site. Remember that the next station backside will be the previous station's foresight. In the defining the backside, I have said that backside is oftenly taken on a known elevation. This known elevation is called as a benchmark. Mean sea level is a standard location where we consider level as 0. From mean sea level, there are certain locations where we fix our points in order for our calculations. These points are called as benchmark. As I said in the previous class, mean sea level is located at Mumbai. We always will not start the leveling from Mumbai. So we will set up our benchmarks at different locations. There are 4 types of benchmarks. One is Great Trigonometrical Survey Benchmark, Permanent Benchmark, Arbitrary Benchmark and Temporary Benchmark. Great Trigonometrical Survey Benchmark, Permanent Benchmark, Arbitrary Benchmark and Temporary Benchmark. Great Trigonometrical Survey Benchmark are the known reduced level of ground points which are established by Survey of India. We have a Survey of India in Uppal. The Survey of India, the main additional or general surveyors, conduct surveys at various ground levels and establishes these GTS benchmarks with reference to the mean sea level. These GTS benchmarks are used by the railways and PDWs and they will set up another benchmark which is called as a permanent benchmark. For example, Greater Trigonometrical Benchmark was set up in Uppal as 580.25 meters. This is standard point elevation. Public Works Department and R&D Department take this level to their own benchmark and they will keep their own survey point. Arbitrary benchmark is often conducted when the day work is only limited to single day. Temporary benchmark when the schedule of the leveling is applicable for 3 months or 2 months, a temporary benchmark of surveyor's value is assumed and leveling is carried. There are different steps before taking any measurements by leveling instrument, or the adjustments made for every set of leveling before taking any readings is called as temporary adjustments. Which means before you start citing a point and calculating the value, you need to do certain operations in order to happen the next things. Those adjustments are called as temporary adjustments. Temporary adjustments involves selection of suitable position, fixing level with the tripod stand, approximate leveling by legs of tripod stand, perfect leveling by foot screws, focusing the eyepiece, focusing the object glass, taking staff reading. These are the 7 operations which we need to conduct before carrying out or noting down the readings on the system. The first, selection of suitable position, second, fixing level with tripod stand, and third, approximate leveling of legs of tripod stand is a common terminology which is understandable by the sentence itself. The concept which you need to learn is the fourth one, which is perfect leveling by foot screws. This is an iterative operation which you need to conduct in order to make the instrument as level. The figure shows you how to conduct a leveling operation. We have 3 foot screws in any instrument. Let us say I have denoted there first foot screw on the bottom right side, second foot screw on the bottom left side, third foot screw at top side. You need to do this iterative operation or in a circle way. First operation is you have to keep the telescope parallel to any of these 2 foot screws. I have denoted telescope with a dotted line and have denoted as first position of the telescope. If you have a telescope, then you have to keep the telescope parallel to any 2 foot screws. Remember that your telescope can rotate in vertical axis. First position is you have to keep your telescope parallel to any 2 foot screws, and you have to operate the foot screws either inwards or outwards as I have shown here, until unless your bubble comes to center. After making sure that your bubble is centered, then you have to rotate your telescope such that it makes a 90 degrees angle with the previous telescope location. After orienting the telescope with 90 degrees with the previous direction of the telescope, you need to operate the third foot screw either clockwise or anti-clockwise until the bubble comes to the center. I will repeat this. Leveling involves 2 operations. First, keeping the telescope parallel to any 2 foot screws. You can keep either 2 foot screws in this way or 2 foot screws in this way or 2 foot screws in this way. Keep the telescope parallel to 2 foot screws, then adjust the foot screws either inwards or outwards such that the bubble comes to center. Rotate the telescope 90 degrees and operate the third foot screw either clockwise or anti-clockwise such that the bubble comes to center. This operation need to be conducted average of minimum 3 times in order to ensure that the bubble is come to center. We will discuss types of leveling in next class.